which means you're going to really want to have your engine bolted in really good in a bunch of places to the frame. So if you get in a wreck, the whole motor doesn't come out and kill you. But then I was like, well, what the heck am I going to do with it if I can't sell it? I need a car to put it in. Boom. Yes. And then the other thing that's for sale, if anybody's interested, I have got a 1996 Dodge Stealth RT twin turbo. Yes, sir. What's up, people? So lately I have been doing some horse trading, which means I've got some interesting things here that I'm either going to build into something, trade, sell, whatever. I'm going to have some fun. And one of those things to show you is the original drivetrain I was going to use in the Jabberwocky project, which sadly died. That was the Nissan GTP IMSA-bodied car that I was going to put the Viper V10 engine in it with the awesome 1990s Porsche twin-turbo 5-speed transaxle. So the best of the best, big monster, would have been really cool. But I got to be honest, you guys, when you're starting being a YouTuber, getting things going, sometimes it's hard to manage all those projects. When you're talking, every single system and thing you're doing requires a really high level of craftsmanship and a lot of labor. And if one of those links in your chain breaks down in any way, shape, and form, it throws a wrench in your gear, and you got to be realistic. So somebody offered to buy that drivetrain for me for everything I had in it, and I took the out. And then not a short time later, somebody offered to buy the body and chassis, so that's why I went away. However, I did some trading and it's back. So I'm going to put it up for sale. And if part of it sells, great. If I keep the transax, I'll put something else on it, fine. If I end up with the Viper engine, fine. If nobody buys it, fine too. But then I was like, well, what the heck am I going to do with it if I can't sell it? I need a car to put it in. Boom. Yes. I have another Countach replica here. Now, this is not an original Countach, but it was molded directly off an original one. So it's proportionally perfectly accurate to Marcello Gandini's original Bertoni masterpiece. But it is built like a brick poop house. Very, very strong. And since it's been sitting around since the early 1990s, you know, all that fiberglass is more or less finally cured. And because it's thick, so it should actually look really pretty. And the other thing that's nice about Countaches are the taillights, the headlights, mirrors, all those things that make it a Countach are all pretty well available and not very expensive. So should be able to look really good. Now, the other reason why I got this and purchased it is because it's on a tube frame and there are no Fiero components in it at all. Nothing Fiero. So tube frame, steel tube frame, and in the front, it's got C4 Corvette suspension, which is actually pretty darn good. You've got aluminum upper and lower A-arms, and this has been converted to have coilover suspension. And of course, with C4s being widely customized over the year, you can easily put really nice brakes on it. So the suspension, steering rack, everything in the front is great. Now it's got, I believe, the old weld wheels, which are pretty good facsimile for the original Countach wheels in terms of the 5 circular holes, probably weigh about the same. And I do know they're the same dimensions and offset and all, because even the tires that are on here are the exact correct Countach sized tires. These are the Yokohamas that were originally used on Countaches, and I know that because I used to have a Countach. Now, you go, Casey, well, if you've got a real Lamborghinis and you had a real Countach in the past, why would you want this fake one? Well, because I want my Lamborghini Countach to be what it is in my dreams of a childhood. I want it to be beautiful, which this can be because it's molded off a real one, but I want it to be rugged and badass, and I can do wicked burnouts and stuff. Yes. So it would be cool to put a Viper drivetrain now in it. However, there's a problem. And for all of those of you remember when I had the other one and I was going to do the Jabberwock project, I literally did a video on this. The Countach, when it came out, its engine was in backwards. It's V12. So all the ancillaries were on the rear of the motor, and its clutch and drive output flange was on the front. The Countach, the original one, the real car by Lamborghini, the transmission, of course, being on the engine on the front side of it here, was what was between the seats. And then the transmission effectively had a jack shaft or a shaft that went back through the oil pan, if I'm not mistaken, and the differential that drove the rear wheels of the original Countach was an integral cast member to the oil pan of the motor. and the differential drive unit was right underneath the ancillary. So effectively, the motor, the whole engine, was mounted quite far back. Whereas in a more conventional arrangement, such as in the case of the Gallardo, you have the engine and then the transaxle is on the back. And you have to have the clutch between where the drive, the differential basically is in the motor. So it elongates that quite a bit. And in the circumstance of Countach, is a bit of a problem. Now, Countach was 12-cylinder, and I'm talking about putting in a V10. Well, if we go look at it again, the V10 of the Viper is a massive engine. I mean, it makes 8 liters of displacement. It can make 500 horsepower till the cows come home. My blue car's got 100,000 miles on it, still going strong. In fact, I'm just now making a new track car. And I'm old, and I'm getting tired of working on things, and I'd rather spend time with my family and having fun, right? That's what happens when you get old. You perceive time as being more valuable. Lesson to everybody that's young. So I don't want to have to work on my crap all the time. And that's why a Viper engine is great in theory. But the problem is, it's long. It's real long from the front side to the back side. So the trouble is, when I got this Countach, I asked the guy before it came, I want one measurement from you. Measure the distance from the center line of the rear axles to the firewall. Okay, it's only me here. I don't know if I can take. Hold on. I'm going to set the phone down and move the hood just a second. Hey, you can watch me struggle. Won't this be fun? Here. Oh, 3 hernias. Oh, my testicles popped out. Does that mean if it popped out, it never fully descended? Yes, you can make fun of me for that. Okay, in this car currently is a junky V8, which allegedly runs. But behind it is something better. It's a Porsche 911 Transax, an old 915 variant, with the adapter to a Chevy. And the gentleman whom I bought it from, I said very nicely, make sure it's bolted down so it doesn't bounce all over Hell's Half Acre on the trailer ride here. And he did not. It appears that everything is fine, and I'm not going to worry about it because I don't like that Chevy engine at all. But in any case, so you guys can about see right here where the differential is between the rear suspension. By the way, the rear suspension on this is not bad. It's got fully fabricated upper and lower A-arms with fully adjustable rear trailing link. And oddly enough, the uprights or spindles on this thing are from the front of a Toronado, which is a big V8 goofy car that was front-wheel drive. But the uprights, not terrible for this. And they fit 15-inch wheels with brakes and all. So if I can just get half-decent brakes on the rear of this car, not too bad for a hot rod, actually. So in any case, the problem is hitting the firewall. So, and the trouble with the Countach is, now never mind the steering column that's coming out because it's C4 and it doesn't go there or anything like that. However, the dash is in the correct place for a Countach. It's got a lot of nice steel in it. And all of the inside fiberglass also built like a brick poop house. Here's the carbon seat buckets, which I could potentially use, although you could also just put in like carbon tilt seats like are in the Viper, which would be really nice. But what's going to happen is that firewall, not the entire thing, but a lot of it would have to be punched out by like 3 inches, maybe closer to 4. So it's going to end up becoming like a Can-Am race car where you potentially have fiberglass or an aluminum, just thin firewall with like a 1/4-inch gap to the ancillaries on the front of the Viper motor and like an 1/8-inch gap to your seat. Which means you're going to really want to have your engine bolted in really good in a bunch of places to the frame. So if you get in a wreck, the whole motor doesn't come out and kill you. So the trouble is right here, if you guys can see it. Let's see. Okay, see the ancillaries here? Okay, there's the power steering pulley. This point right here would have to be within a 1/2 inch of your back as the driver to fit well. And it'd be like a go-kart. Now, the other problem with the Viper engine is, as you can see, the intakes are on the front, which is a problem because the firewall is effectively exactly where the intake is. And while it would seem cool to put the intake in the cockpit, which actually that does sound kind of cool, probably a fire hazard. It sound rad. You can tell I'm a Mach 2 with your hair on fire kind of guy, can't you? Anyway, I think what I can do is I looked at the intake ports on this, and they appear to be symmetrical. So I think the Viper intake manifold can actually be removed and just turned around 180 degrees. I'm not even kidding you. And then your, what do you call those things? Throttle bodies would be on the rear, and there'd be a ton of room to put your air filters and stuff on it, which would be cool. And the Viper engine's great because all the ancillaries work, and it'd be easy to put air conditioning in it, so you'd be nice and chill when you're driving your hot rod Countach. Now, here are the seats in the Viper Tillet carbon seats. And I think they would fit in the Countach because they have no padding. Could be real thin and a lot safer. So that's kind of exciting to me. I'm kind of into that idea. But here's where I want to engage with you guys. One, I'm old. I've done this crap. I've built a zillion cars. I've got no, I don't really have any mountains left to climb. So it's just fun for me now at this point. And I think this is a really cool project. It's really nice fiberglass, really nice everything. In fact, this car, I think it was made by, was it Legacy or Heritage or something in the early 90s. I guess they made like 3 of these things. Maybe 1 got done, and then they tried to make like a stretch wheelbase version that was dumb. But where I'm going with this is nobody, including myself, knew that this company built anything, unless you were around back then. And it's actually exceptional quality. And I was thinking I was just going to sell it because I was sick the last couple of days, and when I was sick in bed, I'm like, I can't do anything anymore. Who am I kidding? But now that I'm slightly better and looked at it, I'm like, ooh, this would be cool to do something out of. So even if the Viper engine doesn't fit, I feel like it deserves to be built with at least, maybe like an LSV8 because it's just too cool not to build. But I don't really want to do it by myself. So I don't know. If there's anybody out there relatively local to the greater Toledo, Ohio area, and you just like somebody to build a car with and hang out with, I mean, I could be into that. Send me an email what your deal is. I know Gavin, if you remember him, the young man that was into BMWs, he helped me with the King Zero build back in the day and some other things, and he ended up getting hired, and he ended up being on Gene's Garage actually after that, but he ended up getting hired by RM Motorsports up in Michigan, so that was a really good experience for him. And it was fun for me too, to have somebody to hang out with. So whether you're younger or older or whatever, if you'd like to build a car with somebody and not spend your own money, then it'd be fun to have somebody around. I don't work on the nights or weekends, though. I have to have a life with family, you know what I'm saying? So I think it'd be fun to do something with because my stuff is largely getting done here. The Indy car up there with Aiden, that's a cool project. And, we'll do Gene's Garage stuff with the race cars for everybody. The Viper's ready to test on the track, so it's basically done for this stage. And then I've just got, some other projects to do. I want to do a full service on my Mondial and then get to doing a light restoration on the Ferrari 308, which actually I'm kind of thinking maybe I should build a Puri Correct rally car out of it. That would be badass. But we'll see. But in any case, the Countach, maybe this is Jabberwocky 2.0. But we got to be honest, you guys. We got to be real about life. I would sell it if somebody wants it. I think I'm probably going to ask like 18 grand for it as it sits, which is actually a really damn good deal. You're not going to get a hold of a new Prava kit easily, especially not that cheap. And good luck finding one that's all the correct proportions, let alone on a space frame chassis. And it does come with the Porsche 915 transaxle. Not the strongest one Porsche ever made, but a good transaxle. And it's already got the adapter for a small block Chevy, which I assume will also fit an LS. So never mind that motor. Apparently it runs, but who cares? Just consider it a mock-up. But it'd work if you want. And so clean up and it'd be a great build for somebody. So I'm asking 18 grand if somebody wants it. Nobody wants it, or I just get crazy, or people want to build it with me, then let's build it. The Viper Jabberwock drivetrain is for sale though too, if somebody wants it, because I can't keep all this stuff. Or if somebody just wants like the drivetrain out of the Countach, I don't know, we'll come up with a price, something cheap and nice, so 915 transaxle adapter and a V8. This drivetrain's pretty expensive actually. Those transaxles, the better part of 10 grand, because that is the twin turbo 911 5-speed all-wheel drive 90s transaxle, like the most badass one Porsche ever made. I think it's even got the limited slip differential. The Viper engine's out of 2002. It's forged and turned, not forged. That one's the hyperteptic internals or whatever, which actually better for naturally aspirated. I got the last factory motorsports wiring harness in here, and I had a new old stock ECU flash tune specifically for being a hot rod motor with headers and such. And of course, with the adapter from the Dodge Viper engine to this, all professionally CNC'd, and it has a twin disc clutch that more than handles all of the power, but still is very drivable. That engine, if I'm not mistaken, was like 25,000 miles, I think, on it. So it's a really great motor. And then of course it's got stainless steel headers on it. So all in on that drivetrain, it's like $22,000. But I don't know, if somebody just wants the motor or somebody just wants the transaxle, we'll come up with a fair price. So that stuff's for sale too. And then the other thing that's for sale, if anybody's interested, I have got a 1996 Dodge Stealth RT twin turbo. Yes, sir. The only thing on it that's not stock is it's got the Lancer wheels. I do have the stock wheels, which are chrome in pretty good condition. And this one, of course, has the tan interior. We'll check it out here. In quite good shape, actually. The only other small modification is a little 3D printed here. So where the cigarette lighter is, it actually has a USB plug-in. But the gearbox is fantastic. Clutch is fantastic. It wasn't beat up. Right at about 80,000 miles or 85,000 miles? One of the two. It's not modded. Very virgin. Never been hit. And in the rear, I'll even show you guys here. I've got the original window sticker and like dealer models. Let me pop this bad boy open here. What a cream puff. She's a runner. What do I have to do to put you in this car today? Well, if I sell the Dodge Stealth, that does give more money for building cool projects, or Jabberwocky 2.0 maybe. So I got some cool little models. White ones, the Ertl one is neat in the original package. That's like the dealer model. Manuals. This is the dealer pamphleture. For this Stealth, very cool. Oh, look at that. And then in here are, let's see, ooh, records. I'm pretty darn sure the window sticker is in there as well, and I know that was showing, relating to what it's all been serviced with. So this particular car, I think, was I don't remember if it's sold or was a no sale on Bring a Trailer for $16,800. This exact car. So I'm asking $16,500 for it. First guy with green money gets it. And I don't see any reason why I can't jump in it and drive it anywhere. Oh, we should open up the engine bay. Why not? I did drive it. It's actually pretty darn fast. Honestly, it feels about as fast as the Dodge Vipers were, to be honest with you guys. And with the twin turbo V6, it sounds pretty cool. You gotta like those V6s because they give you that kind of exotic sound, kind of like a sort of a V12, and then you get your little turbo noises that are neat. So there it is. There's an unmolested cherry twin turbo Dodge Stealth, 1996 in the pearl white. Yeah, I think I would lower it just a little bit. I think it needs that, and I guess just drive it. I might make it a little louder, but it's a good car as is. So $16,500. Countach replica as it is, with that 915 transaxle and motor sitting in it, and the other parts, mind you, there's some parts. So here are all of the fins and stuff and grills, and they're all really nice and fit perfectly. They just need to be sandblasted and painted black, basically just like the originals. These are the inner skins to the door, so you want to bond those to the door. And this piece of fiberglass here is the footwell area. So the only thing that's missing is the trunk, the little part back there. But in all honesty, there's no compound curves on the original. You could bend up a trunk with a sheet metal shear and brake. And that's what I would do with it. So 18 grand on this, 16,500 on the Dodge Stealth twin turbo, and the Jabberwocky drivetrain. If you want the whole darn thing, motorsports, wiring harness, clutch adapter, ECU, gaskets, headers, motor, transaxle, everything, it's $22,000. But if you just want parts or something, hit me up. But that's what's up. But if anybody wants to do a project together, hit me up. Honestly, you guys, I'm going to do this car channel now really as a hobby and to bring some positive exposure to Genius Garage and the students, so I can give the opportunity to help, mentor young people get into great engineering colleges and get great jobs in engineering. Still important to me. I really can't afford to do the giant full-time projects anymore because I have to try to make a living and do 2 channels and be there for my family and other stuff. So I can't just full-time be there for students that don't pay me to be there. Make sense? Okay, I hope so. But I can do cool things like Aiden, working with him with this awesome IndyCar project, help him get into any engineering school in the country he wants. I will give you an update video on that soon enough, but we've been working hard, guys. And then, of course, giving students great opportunities with the cool race cars up here and building and engineering. And the other reason, quite frankly, you guys, I'm selling some of this stuff of mine is because Genius Garage doesn't have any money. Like, I know we've had some cool cars in there that were, donated, and we worked our ass off. But the reason nobody gets paid, including myself, is there's no money. Where do you think it comes from? Do you think the government gives a shit about anybody and gives anybody? No. Do you think a university is? No. Universities just want to sap the student loans out of kids for zillions of dollars and put them in debt up their eyeballs forever. And there's also a double-edged sword. The problem with having fancy cars is everybody just assumes you're rich and won't donate or help out anymore. So I know it's kind of like complaining, and probably that is a complaint. But damn it, guys, I've been killing myself for a decade helping out young people. I could use all the help you guys have. Any donation helps. But, you know, I even if I work for free, I can't give students the opportunity with the race cars and help them out with nothing. That even includes going anywhere, just being there and keeping the lights on, just buying new fittings and stuff so Aiden can do his project or materials. That's just it. You know, typically Genius Garage spends about 30 grand a year on stuff for projects and travel, student fuel, and all kinds of stuff. It's up really quick. Anybody that's ever had a shop, anybody that's ever done a real build or paid any attention knows it. And that's an incredibly small amount of money for what we've been able to do with these students over the year per year. So, you know, and guess what? The Genius Garage doesn't have any money. Either nobody gets to do anything, or I'll have to lend the money and give it, which that means I'm going to, which is tough when, you know, trying to make a living and do everything else and then have to work for free with them. So I hope you guys get it, and I hope that you're smart enough to see that I'm just putting my cards on the table and trying to be a positive person. But selling this stuff is helpful because if I need to loan money to Genius Garage or help out the kids, then I need some money to do that with. And if nobody out there gives a shit, then I still give a shit, and I'm going to do something. I just hope some of you out there will pony up and do it too. Because the world's got enough superficial BS, woke marketing, pat yourself on the back for doing absolutely nothing. I'm sick of it. But I don't have time to fight that right now. I'm trying to help people out, like Aiden with the Indy car. And I hope you'll help too. See you guys next time. And if you want to hear me talking about all the things of our time and saying quiet things out loud, please go to @Casey's Golden Shovel or The Golden Shovel with Casey Putsch. That's the channel where I'm putting in more full-time effort with videos. And at least I get to speak my heart and talk about the conceptual things out there that I see and I think the world needs to talk about. See you guys next time.